Hello. Today we cover the last province of Canada and where, in my opinion, Black Canadian history all began, province of Nova Scotia. And for me, it's also where it began because when my parents immigrated here in the 1900s, and I mean 1990, they immigrated and we were in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where I grew up before we moved to Toronto when I was like 12. And growing up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, I was, of course, exposed to a very rich and a rich, encompassing Black history because that's where the Scotians were. Scotians is like a shorthand for Black Nova Scotians, who's have been in Canada for almost 3 centuries, 3 centuries at this point. So they're more Canadian than most white Canadians, if you will. And so growing up with the Tysons and Downies, two prominent families in Halifax, going to St. Patrick's Alexander, growing up on Barrington Street, all the things I'm saying are for people who actually live in Halifax, right? Black History Month was always something that was thoroughly celebrated throughout my time in elementary school. Visiting Africville, learning about Africville, learning the Black National Anthem in music class with Miss Texera. I just, there are just so many ways in which people, Black Nova Scotians, have enriched my life growing up there. Even recently, when we visited, my husband and I, in 2023, my Uncle Wayne, shout out to Uncle Wayne, he took us on a drive through Preston, showing us where they would have dropped off the exiled Maroons, Jamaican Maroons, in that area, and how they would have struggled their first winter, obviously. There's just so much rich history. Of course, with that comes segregation and a number of fights with the government for mistreatment, the the usual, as you've seen throughout my coverage of Black history throughout the country. But all in all, this really impacted me, and that's why Black history in Canada is just so important to me, because not only was I exposed to it, but you kind of see the way that the wrongs of the past keep replaying now and probably into the future until we address them.